Okay, welcome back to another How to Bloke. Today we're going to do a pepper pot of beef. Pepper pot beef, that's really good. Now if you've got some beef and you're fed up making stews and whatnot, then, or even a curry, make some of this. It's really good, it's my favourite. Other than curry, which is my favourite, pepper pot beef is my next favourite, and then stew is my favourite after that, depending on what kind of stew it is. Anyway, today we're going to make pepper pot beef. We're going to need some beef here. How much is this? Is probably good for 4 or 5, 6 people, depending on how much they eat, but that much. How much is that much? I don't know, it's just over a kilo I suppose there. But don't forget, we're going to probably end up with a kilo. Once we trimmed off a little bits of fat and stuff, it will probably end up with a kilo. A kilo is good for 4 people.
Does it matter which cuts of?
No, just anything you can afford. I mean, this is stewing steak, you know, it's not prime. You don't have to buy a prime cuts for this. Just go to a reputable butcher, because you know he's going to sell you, even though it's stewing steak the cheapest, he's going to sell you the best that he can sell you for the price. So don't go to somewhere that's don't buy it just because it's cheap, because it might be tough and you don't want that. Tough, it's not good. So the reputable butcher will want you back as another customer. If he's never seen you before, he thinks, oh, this is a new customer, you know. Anyway, let's get cracking. So we're going to season. We're going to fry this beef and we're going to season it. Now, seasoning, we're going to fry it in here. You're thinking, well, how can you fry in a pot? Why don't you use a frying pan to fry it? Well, we could, but I want to keep all when you fry that in there, you get bits stuck on the bottom. So I want to keep the bits that get stuck in the pan to add flavour, because that's where the flavour is, on the bottom of the pan. So if I do it in that, I've got to fiff and faff and fuss around getting the flavour out of that and back into that, because this is going to go in the oven eventually. Okay, so right, so we need to get this flavour. Now we need some ordinary flour for this. Ordinary, doesn't matter what, ordinary flour. Now we want about 25 grams, I suppose. And how much is 25 grams? I'll show you. Look, see that? A heaped tablespoon, that's what 25 grams is. Okay, so that goes in there. We want some salt in there. We want some black pepper in there. And we want some ginger powder in there. That's what ginger, I need to get some more of this. Look, there is, we need about a teaspoon, something like that. We need a teaspoon. Thank you, assistant. Right, teaspoon. Look, that's about right. You don't have to worry about that too much. If I'm exact with something, then you know, be exact yourself. If I'm not exact, then don't put more than a teaspoon in there. Otherwise, it'll be too gingery. Right, now we're going to get on and crack on and get this meat sorted out. Now I've washed my hands. Make sure you do the same. And we're going to try and trim this off a little bit. You don't have to get off all the fat, but you get off kind of most of it. Especially the big bits, you know, the obvious bits of fat you need to get off. Lean, super duper lean meat really is great, but you know, the flavour, some of the flavour comes from the fat of it. So what we're going to do, you know how to do this for sure. There's a bit you can cut off there, like that. See that's you know, you don't want to eat that. But this is good.
I like the fat.
Yeah.
Especially when it's all stewed and
you know, it's the flavour. You're thinking, oh, it's not very lean, is it? Oh yes, it is. It is. You don't want to get marbled meat. You don't want to get meat that's completely one colour. Like this is a superb stewing steak. This.
Hardly any fat on it.
It's perfect, absolutely perfect. And when you cook this up, you go, oh, you know, this piece here, for example, just leave it like that. This bit doesn't need trimming. Look, it's all good stuff there. All perfect. Right, well, I won't bore you with cutting all this up, so I'll come back after I cut it up and we'll do it from there. Right, we're back again. We've done some trimming this meat. Now look, just go close up on this meat here. Right, this is stewing steak. Not expensive. You can get this for, I don't know, All this will cost €5 or €6, so whatever that is in pounds or dollars or whatever it is to you. But you know, now when I say trim it with obvious fat, now obvious fat is this. Look, this is obvious fat that you can cut off. You don't have to. It's not good to eat this. Right, so cut off the obvious fat bits that you can, but bits like this, for example, there's nothing wrong with it. You don't have to cut that off. That's good. That's all right. That's good. And there we are. So we're ready to go now. So what we're going to do, we're going to brown it in here, and when it's brown, we're going to put it in that pan there to keep it warm. Okay. So what we're going to do now is up on a high heat, and we're going to brown it. Let me just rinse my hand here. Now I've got to do this in batches, and not unless you've got a huge dish, which nobody ever has, but we're going to do this in batches, so you probably have to find you have to find some time to do these in batches. You can't rush this bit of it. Right, so we'll do this in batches of 3, so that one, and that one. Okay, so we're going to go in here with some frying oil. Quite a lot, you need quite a lot. So we're going to do a third in there, like that. We're going to do a third in there, like that. Right, so we're going to go, we've got our beef in there, and we're just going to put some flour in like that. A little bit like that. So you do it in batches like that, otherwise it's going to boil, and you don't want the boiling. Okay, now keep it on the move. Keep it on the move. Depending on how hot you can get the ring, then I'll tell you what, we're going to move rings here because that one's going to take forever. So I'm going to move it to this one. Don't just let it there. If you want to put some black pepper in there as well, again, do it now. Now's the time to do it. Like that. So what you're trying to do is put the beef in, and just coat it with the flour and other things there, the ginger, and just brown it on all sides. It doesn't have to be burnt brown, like just so it's not pink anymore. Okay. So we'll have to just wait a little bit for this. Now you can see already that the goodness is starting to build up on the bottom. See that? That's all flavour, that. So if we cooked it in another dish and then moved it over, it wouldn't be as good. So what we're going to do is we're going to brown all of this. Do this with it. Do this with all the beef, and then we're going to come back and put the other ingredients in. So I'll see you in a minute. Right. What we've done is we've taken all that out. We're going to deglaze that pan a little bit with some cold water. Now you're thinking to yourself, well, why do you bother to put flour in it? Well, it's sealing the meat is not the right question. Not the right answer. What you're trying to do is create. You're going to create some sauce. You can have some sauce with it, right? So you're going to have some sort of binding agent to make the sauce, and the sauce, a good agent is flour to do this. So what we're going to do is just going to don't do this on a non-stick pot. But you've browned all the meat there, as you can see, and we just want to get this flavour off a little bit on the bottom. We call it like a gravy, I suppose, but we're going to add to it. We're not going to take it out. So now, when you're browning this meat, don't be in too much of a hurry, because what will happen is the flour will burn on the bottom of the pot, and it won't taste so good. Okay, so just gently brown it. You don't have to put it on like you would a steak, really hot. Just brown it gently. Okay, so we're going to put this back in here, this beef. And of course you've got the ginger in there, which adds to the flavour. I mean, there are several shortcuts to this recipe which experienced chefs might use, but I'm just telling you what to do. Don't rush it. Expect to use plenty of oil. Unfortunately, you can't get around that. So, okay, so we've got that. That's the beef in there. We've got the flour, the seasoned flour. So what we're going to go in with now is now these three ingredients here actually make this, together with the ginger, actually make this. You know, Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire sauce. I can never say that. Worcester sauce. Oh, I just said it. Worcester sauce, or Worcestershire sauce. You know what that is. Plenty of people make this. So we need that. We need some vinegar of some sort of flavoured vinegar. You haven't got that, just use ordinary clear vinegar, and some brown sugar. So those three things plus the ginger we put in there. This gives the pepper pot bit of it. The pepper pot bit, the taste, so it doesn't taste like a stew, so it doesn't taste like a curry, it doesn't taste like these ingredients here together with ginger are what makes this dish. So we're going to go in with 2-2-1. 2-2-1. Look at that. 2-2-1. Okay. So I'm being precise about this. You know when I'm precise, it means you've got to be precise too. Right. 2.
Smells so good.
2. And 1. Now, all right. Don't go too mad, but that's all you want. That's a bit too much, but I like it sweet. So that's all I would say is if I take the time to show you how to measure things, then you have to do it as well. And don't forget that there's the ginger in there as well. So that all adds to it. Now we're going to go in with some garlic. Now you can use. I've got some fresh garlic here which I need to use up. How much garlic? Well, it depends how much you like garlic. You don't have to have garlic, but it tastes better. You know. Now you can buy garlic in lots of different ways. You can buy garlic like this. It comes in like this. This is liquid, in a tube or in something like that. Obviously you can get it fresh, or you can get ground garlic like that as a powder. So what you want to do is put into decide how much garlic you want to use. Now for today I'm not going to use. I want to use that, but I want to show you. This is a garlic crusher. You peel your garlic clove and you stick it in like this. I appreciate you guys who've done this before many times. I'm doing it for the people watching this who've never done it before. Okay, so you can fast forward if you want, but you might miss a tip or two. Anyway, so we've got 2 goes of garlic there. That should be enough. Yeah, you can leave the garlic out, as I said, but I like the garlic in. You can certainly taste the garlic when you are eating this. You can taste it. If you leave it out, you can taste that you've left it out. That's the best explanation. So already you can smell. Well, you can't smell that because that's ridiculous. Not in 2020. Maybe in 2080 you'll be able to smell it. With technology, but for now, you have to wait 60 years.
Oh, I can taste it.
And 60 years I'll be gone.
Smells amazing.
So what we're left with, okay, so we're going to bring that to the boil, like this. Now you need to put your oven on medium, because we're going to cook this in the oven. And we're not going to put it on now because it makes a noise for the camera, apparently, so I've just been told not to do that. So, okay, so is this it? No, it's not. No, not at all.
It's easy though, isn't it?
It's nearly there. So what we're going to go in with now, we're going to go with some tomatoes, tin tomatoes. Now you could boil up some tomato puree in there as well. You could, to make the sauce richer, but I think you'll be happy without that. If you've made it once before, or twice before, try it with tomato puree. You might be. Let's keep this simple though. Tin of tomatoes. So you get your tin of tomatoes like this. Now you don't have to keep them whole like that unless you want to. I'll just cut these tomatoes up because we want them kind of like chopped tomatoes, really. Like that. Okay, so that's what it looks like that. Yeah, get a big, when you're cooking this thing, get a big pot. You know, borrow your mother's Le Creuset or whatever she's got, but don't struggle with a pot that's half this size, because that'll be a nightmare. You would just put you off. So get a nice big pot that goes in the oven. Okay. So that's looking good there. Now we're going to chuck in a couple of bay leaves like this. If you haven't got bay leaves, you can't add them, but that's logical, isn't it? But if you have, stick them in because it adds to the flavour. Now, towards the end of the recipe, we're going to let this cook in the oven now for about an hour. We're just going to make sure that the sauce is saucy enough, because we don't want that mixture to dry out when it's cooking in the oven. So, we're going to fill up I always use this tomato can to top up the sauce, the liquid, because why? Because I feel that if I don't use that tomato juice in there, I'm wasting it. Crazy, isn't it? So,
no, it's not.
And it's flavour, don't forget, all flavoured. It's more flavour than adding just water in there. So, okay, now let's have a look at this. Right. Already that sauce is starting to get thick from the flour that we used to cook it in. There we are. Now, oh, it smells good. It smells really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Yes.
Even if it's only been going for a... Now we're going to put this on a medium oven. What's a medium oven? 150 degrees for an hour. Okay, 150 degrees. So some medium, I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but 150 degrees centigrade in, you have to look it up, in the oven. And we'll come back after an hour and then we'll add some stuff to it. Okay? So, see you see you then. Okay, we're back. We're back. I haven't got any tea this afternoon. Very disappointing. My tea maker, she's on strike. Anyway, what we're going to do. This has been in there for an hour. So we're going to switch him off so that we can hear each other. We can't hear. I can't hear you, but you can hear me. You get what I mean, anyway. Right. So, the heat. So it's been on for an hour on a medium heat. Don't get the camera fogged up. Fogged up?
Wow.
Fogged up. So there's our pepper pot beef. Wow.
That looks sublime.
Right, now look how good that is.
I wish
Right, it's still got to cook now for another hour, but it's going to simmer for another hour. Okay, so it's going to. Most of the cooking's already been done. It's been on an hour on 150. So everything in there is cooked already. But to allow the flavours to develop, we're going to put it in for another hour, and then it will be ready. Okay, so what we're going to do before we put it back, we're going to add some kidney beans. Kidney beans. Why? Because it goes with it. It's a good source of fibre and iron and all that business, and it tastes good. Kind of like beans in the chili con carne beans. That's what I mean. Kidney beans, red ones like that. Look, see. How much you put in is up to you. But I normally allow like 2 small tins like this. Don't use the juice in here. I mean, you can, but you just drain it. Just drain it as best you can, like that. And voila. So, let's let that drain away a little bit like that. Okay, and then you can stick them in like that. So, voila, they go in there just like that. Now, if you're going to add any tomato, if you want to add tomato puree in there for any reason, because you love tomato puree, now's the time to do it. How much tomato puree you want to put in? Well, not a lot, just a tablespoon. You know, just that's good. I'm not going to bother because I know this is going to be super good as is.
It looks quite red already, doesn't it?
Right, the only other ingredient that you can put in, and I suggest you do because it adds to the flavour, is some red peppers, or green oil. Red peppers best. green peppers. Now I haven't got any, I tend not to buy them. Why? Because every time I buy them, they last for about a day and then that's it, they're finished, or 2 days maximum. So if you forget to cook them, waste of money. Now this big bag here, this is red, green and yellow peppers, okay? There's a big bag there. That costs the same price as 3 small fresh peppers. And that's got loads in there, like 6, 7, 8 peppers in there. So, you know, you do the math. How many do you put in? Handful, like this, look.
This is already cut, isn't it? So
it's already cut, you just chuck it in. It's so good, not only for stews now, but for things like omelettes and loads of things. Pizzas even. Homemade pizzas. I'll do some homemade pizzas later on when it gets colder. So, what we're going to do is we're going to mix that together. Now, that goes on a simmer now. Now, with a simmer, I would put it in the oven on a really low, like 100 degrees centigrade, whatever that is in Fahrenheit, for another hour, and it'll be perfect. You could put it on the stove top here, put it on the smallest ring on the lowest for an hour, right? But you don't. After an hour, that's done. So it's 2 hours. An hour in the oven on medium, and an hour simmering on the top or in the oven on low, and that'll be perfect. So we're going to put this together like this. Now, what are you going to serve this with? Well, we'll show you the picture when we in a minute. But what are you going to serve this with? You're going to serve it with. Well, you can serve it with pasta. You can serve it with rice. You can serve what it's particularly good with, I think, is wild rice. Or if you haven't got wild rice, the rice with where they've got the black grains, the brown grains, and the white grains. What's that called again?
I don't know.
No, anyway, you know the one. It's the mixed coloured rice in the packet. That's good. That's good in there. A dollop. Well, you want to put a dollop of crème fraiche on there is good. You could use thick Greek yogurt. Heat. Now, it's not particularly hot. We haven't added anything in here that's particularly hot. Spicy, I mean. This is hot. We haven't added anything spicy. So you could. Now, before you start going crazy with the Tabasco, with the chili sauce, with anything else in there, chili pepper, whatever, think about who's going to eat that. You've got young children who don't like spice, don't put it in. You can add it to your plate, but not. You just put it in that pot, you can't take it out again. You don't, you can't. So if you've got children or some adults don't like anything spicy, so you have to. I love this totally. We all do like it spicy. So we put our own Tabasco on there. Or you have to use the word Tabasco, but own chili sauce, only to heat it up when we serve it. I suggest you do the same, unless you're confident that everybody likes it hot. So there we have it. Have I left anything else out? No. Well, so just to recap then, there's 4 important things here. 4.5. 4 important things. The vinegar, the brown sugar, the ginger, and the Worcestershire sauce. Okay, those 4 things will give it the flavour of that. Also, when you brown the meat, don't go crazy, don't go burn it. Don't try and burn it because the whole bottom of the pan will burn with the flour in it. Just go easy with it. Do it in batches. And the last thing is the half bit is give it some welly in the oven for a short time, and then simmer it, and then the flavours will develop. If you ate that now, it wouldn't be as good as it is in 2 hours from now. What's the time now? Quarter past 2. Now, if I simmer that until 4 o'clock, that's going to be perfect. You can turn it off then, and then reheat it when you want to eat it, which I'm going to do today. So simmering is important in developing the flavours. If you don't simmer it, you're not going to get the best out of the dish. So, if you're thinking about how you're going to remember, you watch this, and you don't want to make it just yet, and you think, or when it turns a bit colder, and you think, oh yeah, where's that bloke? That bloke who made that pepper dish in a pot thing there. Well, look, all you have to do is remember that bloke. Yeah, just HowToBloke pepper pot stew or whatever, and you'll find it straight away in your favourite search engine. So do that search. Tell all your friends, and until next time. But before I go, there's more recipes up here. No, sorry, wrong way. There's more recipes here, there's quick tips up here, there's some DIYs that I've done, plenty more to follow down here, and if you want to subscribe, then it's hit the How to Bloke icon. Until we see each other next time.